And I'm back with another one. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Daz, and this my journal. If you new here, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you've been rocking with me for a while, I appreciate you. With that being said, today what I want to talk about is the power of the mind. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, right? I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I realized that if they say everything is energy, right? Everything is energy, and when you have a thought, it's like a thought wave or a thought form, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like energy. Don't that mean that our thoughts is forms of energy too? Like we could put a certain thought in the air and it will come to us. Cause I've been doing this thing, right? Like just paying attention. You ever had days where you feel like everything is irritating you? Like mentally, everything is irritating you mentally. So you in a bad mood. You in one of them irritated moods where everything is just, and then it feel like the day is just giving you more and more stuff to feel irritated about. Or when you having a good day and it seems like nothing could bother you, the day just give you more and more stuff to make you feel good about. And that's because it's the state of mind that you in. And I've just been thinking lately. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and that's one of the things I've been thinking about. Like, if everything is energy and our thought form is energy, how we feel and how we act must, like, not control, but like aid us to what we thinking about. Because if we thinking about negative, you only gonna get negative. But if you think about positive, of course, you're going to have roadblocks and stuff like that. It's going to try to pop up and try to stop you from going where you want to go. But you only going to start seeing positive. You're going to start seeing a lot of positive just start popping up. And I've been reading this I've been reading this book, Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself. I'm in the first chapter of it right now, right? And in the first chapter, it's just talking about quantum physics. And it's talking about how, from atoms and subatoms, and if we are made of atoms and energy, that means that our thoughts could be, like the wavelength, and then we gotta put our body, we gotta basically feel how we want to feel. Like if you want to be like a millionaire, you got to feel like a millionaire first. That's why, you ever heard the saying, it would say, all right, you got to be a boxer before you become a boxer, or you got to be a rapper before you become a rapper. You got to be something before you become it. And I think that's what they mean. Like, you got to mentally and like physically embody yourself as something before you can become it. Cause I be thinking sometimes, and a lot of the times when you grow up, like, let me stop saying that, growing up. When a lot of the times when we in this society day and age too, it make you think a lot, especially when you on the internet and you on the internet a lot, or you around people and you feeling peer pressure to do certain things. So you start thinking a lot, and you start thinking negative things. You start thinking with anxiety. You start thinking from the low levels of vibrations, like anxiety, shame. Oh, should I do this because I don't want to do this because I might look funny to that person. I might look funny to this person, when in reality, we here to just like experience this shit, because we only live once. Like, we all gonna, like, it sound crazy. Not even sound crazy, but it sound like nihilism, but it's not. But we all gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all gonna die. So you wanna die like living in a mental prison? Or you wanna die living in like a mental state where it's just like, you know what? Things happen, but whatever happened to me, it don't happen to me, it happens for me. In a sense of, all right, if something bad happened, what can I learn from this? Because if I can learn from this mistake, it can make me a better me. You know, have like change the mindset of how you think about certain things that happen to you. Don't say it happened to me, it happened for me. Change your mind and it's just like saying, all right, I messed up. I messed up a couple of times. I keep messing up on certain things, but I'm going to get what I say I'm going to do, or I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And that's in anything. It don't have to only be semen retention. It could be anything. If you chasing a goal, if you chasing just a certain aspect of you, and you keep falling short, keep going. Whenever you fall short, just learn from whatever failures, because it's not failures. I don't think you fail until you quit. Like, failure isn't failure until you quit. And that's why everything is mental, because you don't fail or really quit until you die. I'm sorry to put it so bluntly, but for real, you don't really, unless you give up and say I'm done. It's the only way you can really quit on yourself is when you die. So why live in a mental state where you just in anguish? And I'm learning that. It's like I used to hear people say people choose to be depressed. People choose to do certain things. And I used to be like, no, you just depressed. If certain things happen, you just become depressed. No, depression. People go through things. This world is a universal world, right? Where you're not the only one with your problems. You can be going through something, and somebody across the room can be going through the same exact things, right? And how they look at their problems is way different from how this person look at their problems. So how they go about solving the problems is two different solutions. One can have a positive thought process, and the other one can have a negative thought process. That's why you got to control how you think. Because let's go back to the two people, right? The one with the positive thought process and the negative thought process. The one with the negative thought process could look at any situation they going through as a mental jail. It's keeping them up there, just you keep thinking about it, you keep thinking about it, you keep thinking about it, you keep thinking about it. Or you could look at it and be like, yo, all right, I'm going through this situation right now. How can I improve from here? Because if I'm here, it's a way for me to improve and get better. So how can I improve from here? And now you just freed yourself, because now instead of thinking that you're stuck, you looking for ways to get out. And eventually, if you keep looking for something, you're gonna find it. So that's why I'm just trying to give y'all what I'm learning on an everyday basis. Today is about thinking positive. And I'm not gonna say it's just easy, because I see this on Bill Proctor. If you ever know Bill Proctor, he do seminars where he teaches people about just renewing your mind and how to renew your mind. And he showed an example where they have a cup and they pouring into the cup, where it's it's like black or soda in the cup, and they pouring water into the cup. And it's going to take a little while, so you're going to have to work on it and work on it and work on it for a little while. But once you start to get it, you start to get it. Because now that I'm reading this book and I've been working on me for so long, it's it's starting to click. And that's why I'm coming here and explaining it to y'all, because the faster you could even just start thinking about, all right, how do I get to think positive? How do I get to fix my mind and just start thinking the way that we was meant to think, in a positive vibration and in a positive focus. And when I say positive, I mean in all aspects. You can't be out here doing evil or thinking evil towards your neighbor. And that's why they say love your neighbor, because you don't have to love your neighbor in the sense of oh, I love you, neighbor. No, but love your neighbor in the sense of you don't want to see no harm. Because if you love somebody, you don't want to see them get harmed. So you don't want to be the one that's doing the harm. So you wouldn't harm somebody you love. So love thy neighbor in the sense of like you don't do nothing to get over on anybody. You're not thinking, you don't have evil thoughts against people. And when people do you wrong, you just say, you know what, you give it up. That's why he said forgiveness to me is understanding the situation, giving it to God, and don't feel no way about it. Just let it go. That's what you don't have to speak to the person ever again, but you can let go of the situation. So I'm saying all that to say this, that once you start to understand like yourself and you start reading and start gaining more knowledge and you start understanding like that energy is everything. If energy is everything, right? They say everything is made of energy. Every single thing is made of energy, right? And our brain create brain waves, right? Or, alright, you ever thought about somebody and then they called you? Or you ever thought about somebody and then as soon as they thought about somebody, they called you? And they say, I was just thinking about you. It's like they sent you a brainwave. And I know it might sound cuckoo, but y'all know. Or sometimes you think about somebody and then the next 2 days you see them randomly. Especially if the thought like created like a feeling and stuff like that. You seen the person or they called you randomly. Because the brainwaves, you send out brainwaves. And that's why they tell you to be in a positive mind state. Because when you're in a positive mind state, you're in the higher grounds. Man, I could go on all day about this. I'm just bringing this to y'all so y'all could understand that the power of the brain is really, I can't even explain it. Because I used to manifest before, right? But I realized that I was manifesting with a body full of fear. What I mean by that is, right, you could be manifesting something, right? And this is the whole Bill. Go back to the Bill Proctor thing when you're gonna clean the cup. When you manifesting and you feel like like your body's still in fear, keep manifesting, keep doing it. Because why? All you doing is changing how you think about yourself. Because subconsciously, a lot of times, for so long, we be putting ourselves down that subconsciously we look at ourselves in a certain light. That we got to start changing that. Filling the cup with pure water. So now we can think positive. We think positive about ourselves. It used to be, now I don't, because I used to think about and try to manifest my body was in a state of fear. But now when I manifest, my body's in a state of calm. I'm just calm. Like I feel it coming to me. Pause. Like I feel it like I'm aligned with it now. And it's because of all the work I've been putting in. So when they say the good add up and the bad add up, make sure you're doing more good than you're doing bad. Because I've been on here for years just talking about, probably for like a year and a half, just talking about reading and exercising and eating better and doing certain things to make sure I have a better mind. And now I'm at a sense where it's way easier for me to just block out the negative thoughts. Because now it's like I'm at a point where I realize that all my thoughts is not my thoughts. So the negative thoughts is definitely not my thoughts. If something negative, you ever had like a weird thought pop up and you like, what? And there's something negative, you like, what? Where did that come from? It's not your thought. But until you start thinking and start looking and deeper into the power of the mind, especially in the Bible too. My fault. Like I know I keep like sound like I'm closing, but I keep thinking about new points. But in the Bible, Jesus tell you to be more like him because he believed in himself. He believed in himself and the Father God wholeheartedly. As a man thinketh, so he shall be. Because if you think you garbage, you're gonna live like garbage. But if you think you are high up, you are a king, or you are somebody that's supposed to be high up in your respective area, you're gonna get there. You're gonna find ways to position yourself to get there. You're gonna find ways to position yourself to get there. It's a lot more I could pull out. Like, all right, let me give y'all something. Let me just because I want to talk. I feel like talking about it. I want to talk about it a little bit, right? I came up with this theory, right? That God is energy. Yeah. I came up with this theory that God is the good side of energy. Let me break it down now, right? The reason I say that, right, is because they say God is everywhere, everything, and every time, right? Right? And I'm trying to put it in a way which y'all will understand. God is everywhere, everything, and everywhere, every time, right? So he's omnipresent, right? And if everything in this world is made of energy, it's made of atoms, and atoms break down to energy. Everything breaks down to the natural forms of energy, right? Even the universe and everything in the universe is a form of energy, right? I feel like God is energy, the good energy though, creative energy. You starting to catch my drift? The creative energy, because when you start to create, you're focused on yourself. You're focused on what you're building, what you're doing, on the good of advancing humanity, if that's the case. And if you believe in God, you gotta believe in the devil. So right now, you're gonna be like, all right. So if God is good energy, what's the devil? The devil bad energy? Yes. Right. And the reason I say yes is because you ever notice, right, when they say, look at the energy charts, right? Look at the energy charts. And they say that your lowest levels of energy is anger, shame, grief, everything that make you just feel bad. Stealing, like lusting and stealing and things of that nature. That's all the things that make you in the end feel bad. When you go to your higher nature, hear me now, when you go to your higher nature, it's love, peace, joy, patience, everything that God preaches us to be. Every single thing that God preaches us to be. And I just want to leave that with y'all. You know what I mean? And that's where my mind is at right now. I just been thinking a lot, like, cause to get to know, I don't want to know God where I'm like face to face, because they say, I believe that if you meet God face to face, you can't die from overwhelming power or whatever the situation is. But to get closer to God is to get to know God. And if you get to know God, you gotta get to learn yourself and have a better relationship with yourself. Because the more you have a better relationship with yourself, the more you can have a better understanding of things. And the more you have a better understanding of things, the more you can move with a kind and pure heart. Not nice, kind and pure heart. And when you start moving with a kind and pure heart, you automatically like just start looking at things from a different light. And once you start looking at things from that light and you start understanding things, especially if you're a person that's seeking knowledge and want to keep learning and learning and learning, you're gonna keep learning. You're gonna keep falling among things that give you more knowledge. And God gave us all discernment to know how to learn how to think for ourselves. So with that being said, take information and learn how to dissect it into something that makes sense to you. And if it don't make sense to you, search it up, Google it. It's so much search engines and things that we could do to, educate ourselves on certain things. And that's just my theory of it. Like, I don't feel like, how I'd be like, oh, God is a man, is in heaven. And I don't believe that. I believe that if they say God is everything, everywhere, and anytime, and he's everywhere, anytime, right? I feel like, and he's omnipresent, so he's omnipresent. That means that he's the good energy. He's the creative, good, loving energy that's in this world. Hey, as much as there's good energy, you gotta look at the bad too. And that's my theory on it. And yes, I wholeheartedly believe in Jesus, because I feel like Jesus came down here to remind us who we are. That doing evil or doing things that I feel like we all have an innate sense of like good and bad. You know what I mean? So if we all got a unique sense of good and bad, right? That mean that if I know I shouldn't be doing something, I'm not going to do it. And if I know that I'm doing something that can hurt you for my personal gain, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sit out here and have hate in my heart. I'm not going to sit out here and hate nobody else for no reason. I don't care what they do to me. I'm not going to hate that person. I'll leave that person alone, but I won't hate you, because hate costs too much energy. Hate costs too much energy. I know that, and this is life. So in life, you're going to suffer. I'm not saying that you got to suffer to get what you want, because that's not true. But you're going to go through things, especially if God got to build you up. Like if God going to build you up to be the person that he needs you to be, with a person with a clean, pure heart, that know hard work, and that won't give up in the end. And that's always going to stay faithful and loyal to who he came with, which meaning God. He got to build you up to that. And you got to go through trials and tribulations, the ebbs and flows of life. So I feel like Jesus came down here to tell us that if we believe in ourselves as much as we believe in him, believe in ourselves as much as we believe in him, and believe in, like, just as anything we can see, just believe in yourself and have wholehearted belief in yourself. Do good to others. Have a clean heart. Move with righteousness. Know that there's one God, because you can't have 4 million different gods if God is energy, and God is one. God is everything in this world. So believe in one God, and the one God. It's a lot, yo. It's a lot, and I don't want to jam pack it, but I'll just give y'all a preview today. So with that being said, put God first. Put God first. Put God first. It's your boy Daz, and I'm out of here. Peace.